Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Ladies, I am so excited to be here today chatting with Serena, who is a mindset coach. She's going to tell you a little bit more about who she helps and what she helps people with. But Serena is one of our Clique Academy graduates. And I actually remember, Serena, very, very clearly the moment that you announced to the world or to the Clique Academy that you had been able to quit your job to, pursue your dreams of coaching full time. So I'd like to actually start there because I think that's such a pivotal moment in any coach's or entrepreneur's journey. So how did that feel for you when you were finally able to hand in your notice?
It felt scary, super scary, but it felt like at the time, I didn't know if it 100% made sense, but that was the time when I think I've been most followed by my intuition. I was like, this is something I have to do right now. Like everything in my body was like, you have to just go full time right now. And I'll always remember the moment when I had that realization. I was on a walk in London, like walking down the high street, and I was like, I have to take this full time. I'm enjoying it so much. I love coaching. And what I'm doing right now just isn't fulfilling me. And I just knew everything within me was telling me to do this. But I think at that time it was so much excitement and knowing that it was the right thing. But there was fear there. Like it was scary. And I'll always remember telling the Clique and talking to you about it on a mindset call, and that support from you and all the ladies on the call, like I'll always remember the chat box. I take screenshots of all of their comments, and that really helped me through that time.
I love that. And I love what you said about really kind of just trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. When we think about our intuition and knowing like what is the right decision for us. So whether it's the decision to become a coach, the decision to, actually get to the point where you're like ready to quit your job and really pursue coaching full time. How do you tap into your own intuition?
So I believe that everyone feels it in different places. And for me, it's a feeling that I get in my belly. It's like just a knowing that I get in my belly when I think about it. When I was thinking about going back to work, I was getting a real sense of like uncomfortable in my belly. Like I felt the fear, and it didn't feel like a good fear that felt exciting. It just felt like I just physically didn't want to go. Even now I'm moving back because I just didn't want to. Whereas then I always think about things in two ways. So I'm like, how does this feel in my belly going back to work? And then I think, how does becoming a coach going full time feel right now? And there was something really exciting in there. Like it felt like a fire, and I just felt excited. And obviously I didn't know the how at that time. I made a rough plan in my mind, but really I didn't know how it was going to pan out, but I just knew that it was going to work. So it was definitely just tuning into where I felt it in my body and how that felt compared to the other option. And the other option felt like a bad fear rather than an exciting one.
Okay. So you're sort of hearing this kind of getting this sort of sensation in your stomach, and you're kind of going with, okay, the thing that kind of feels a little bit more exciting, still a little bit scary, but at this point, like that's kind of, the thing that's really kind of getting you excited. Since you've made that leap then, because I think this is a lot of things that a lot of the time, something that women worry about is like, okay, when I take that leap, it's like, oh my God, now I'm like reliant now on my business to support me. So how have things been for you since you've kind of stepped away from that job and stepped into the coaching world full time?
They have been just incredible. I can only describe this last year as just being a whirlwind, and I love to set goals, but they have like everything that's happened has exceeded anything that I ever imagined. And I think that actually leaving my job really did help with that, because I've been trying to become a coach for years, but my job was really holding me back. And I was coming up with all of the excuses, like, I'll wait for the next promotion, it's not quite the right time. But when I just took the plunge and kind of burnt the bridge of work, I just had to make it work. And I think that just gave me a lot of motivation. And like, even though I was filled with a bit of fear, like it was there, that motivation just kept me moving forward. And yeah, it's just been incredible. So I joined the Clique, I think it was like end April.
Yeah.
So much mindset work at that time. I just worked on all of my limiting beliefs. Like, I'll always remember that first mindset call with you when I cried to you and I was, can I do this? And I was trying to find validation from my friends and I wasn't getting it. And then I felt like I left the Clique like a different person. I had so much confidence and I'd really found out what I valued. And even things like my relationships have got better. Like my relationship with my boyfriend Will had got so much better. Like, we're living together now, we're engaged. Like, I had all of these personal wins, so I knew what I was doing was right. And then when I finished my qualification, I think it was like end August, I just kept showing up and kept getting visible and just giving value and doing what I enjoyed. And I started to sign clients from Instagram. So it was just connections that I'd made in the DMs, but I knew I wanted to do a big launch because I've always loved going to challenges. Like, I've loved the energy. So I worked towards the launch, which was in November, and it was just so much fun. I think there was like 60 people there, and I signed like 5 high ticket clients and a couple of VIP day clients. And it was just,
oh my goodness,
it was so much fun. And then ever since then, I've just kept going, and I've held 3 challenges now for over, I think it's like 200 women. And I think that just gives me a buzz like no other. Like, for me, that process isn't even about selling at the end. Like, I just love those challenges. I love the energy. I love giving loads of value, and they've just been so much fun. So since then, since that launch in November, I've just kept doing challenges. Like, I became maxed out with one-to-ones, which was like an incredible moment to even realize that happened. I launched a group program and sold that out in February, and it was just filled with the most amazing ladies that gelled together so well. And it was so great to just hold that space for a group of women too. So I've run that twice, and I've now turned that into an online program. So I'm going to be launching that next month. And it's just been incredible, like, to be able to serve all of these clients and see them like with their own wins, signing their own clients, and creating that life for me and Will that we've always wanted, like having the freedom to take a day off in the middle of the week. And I know that that might sound so minor to some people, but I was never allowed to do that in my old job, and I had to ask permission from someone else. And to have the freedom for us to go to the lakes during the week is just amazing. So just having all that freedom, like feeling really fulfilled, has just been incredible, really.
Oh my goodness. And I can just tell just from how you're speaking now, like, you absolutely love doing this. Like, there's so much sort of passion in your voice. And I really believe like that's a big part of success, is just having fun with this process and just enjoying what you do. And you said for yourself, like, doing these launches and doing these challenges, like, it's just been really, really fun. Like, you're serving people, but you're also having fun at the same time. And I just personally, going back to that conversation that we had when I was sort of coaching you, and just seeing how far you've come since then has been absolutely phenomenal. So tell me a little bit more about the shifts that you've made in terms of your own mindset as you've been kind of stepping into the coaching world.
So at that time when we had that conversation, I had like dabbled in mindset before. Like, I had seen like a big shift a couple of years before when I'd first got into mindset and working on my limiting beliefs. And then I truly believe that the work is never done. So when I joined the Clique, I'd obviously come up with these new fears of, can I even do a certification? Like, can I do this training? Am I going to be able to become a coach? So I truly believe that even though you might have worked on your limiting beliefs, like, keep working on them. So at that time, I really, really focused on my mindset. Like I remember being on furlough for a couple of weeks and waking up like at the same time as I used to wake up for my job and working on my mindset so much. Like I was so determined to just get myself in a really good place. So I had a very strong mindset routine where I really gave myself that space every morning, moved, like journaled, did scripted journaling, and really just worked out where those limiting beliefs had come from and used all of the techniques in the Clique on myself and really saw all of those benefits by the end. Like I felt completely different. And then since then, I would say I've just had to keep working on it. When I finished the Clique, obviously new fears came up of like, okay, so you don't have a job now, like you're not going to have that payday, that last Friday at the end of the month. This is something new. So new fears came up, but I just had to apply those same techniques. Like, where is this fear coming from? Like, how is it trying to protect me right now? And what do I choose going forward? And that process has just really helped me throughout. And I would definitely say to like all coaches, any business owners, that like it just does never stop. I always remember when I had my launch in February and something happened that I just was not expecting. I had a really big launch. I think it was like a nearly 17K launch, which was like blew my mind. But I ended up having this kind of all of these money things coming up where I wasn't used to having all of that money. And I had to really work on my mindset then so that I didn't self-sabotage. So I would say that like really tuning in and recognizing when my mindset is starting to play tricks on me has been really, really important through this journey.
I love that you've brought up the money mindset stuff, because I think definitely something that I experienced when I first stepped into this industry was seeing other women creating these huge financial successes. And there was a part of me that felt like almost a bit bad for wanting more, and this idea of having more money. And there was a part of me obviously that did want to earn more, but kind of all of these negative beliefs about what that would mean for me, like, oh, it's gonna mean that I'm a bad person if I have money, or you know, if I've got money, am I all of a sudden going to be looked at differently from my friends and my family? So you've spoke about sort of the stuff that came up for you when you had this incredible £17,000 launch. Like, what were some of those sort of mindset and kind of issues and fears that came up for you because of that win?
So I had this belief that I didn't even know was there, that money comes and goes. So what I hadn't actually realized is I've always been okay to receive money. Like I've never worried about money. So I actually thought my money mindset was never an issue through my business. But then when it was such a vast amount of money, it's almost like I wanted to reject it, because I thought, well, money comes and goes, so this needs to go because I'm not used to having this much. And I really tuned into like where that had come from. I actually got help from another coach. I would say like you can never have too many coaches, like there's areas that you need help with. So got help with a money mindset coach who really helped me with finding out where the belief had come from. And like I went right back to childhood. I had this belief from when my family had businesses that I didn't even know that I'd formed these beliefs, and they were there lurking there, and now they'd surfaced. So we worked on that together. We did like some EFT together, and EFT and even that awareness and new perspective just helped me to move forward. So it was really, really powerful, that work.
Yeah, and I think that's where EFT, from my experience, really comes into its own when it comes to the money mindset work. I've used it tons on my journey, and I still use it now. And I love what you say about this kind of, this work is never done. I was chatting with Laura the other day, and she used a really good phrase. It was like, with every level, there's a new devil. And so say, for example, for you, having that amazing, successful month, yet the stuff that you've then got to work through. I've had exactly the same. I remember when hitting one of my sort of big milestones a couple of years ago was to get to my first 100K month. And I got there, and then, oh my goodness, that came with so much other stuff that I didn't realize. Like, and it was almost like this self-sabotage, like kind of similar to what you were saying of just wanting to get rid of it, because there's a part of me that just didn't feel like I could handle that level of wealth, and I would just mess things up. So it was like, okay, I just need to get rid of it as quickly as possible. So it's funny how this work is just never done, and you kind of always have to, every time you up level, you're going to be faced with new demons that come up. Let's just talk about sort of the money, because I know that like for a lot of women coming in, they do want to change their financial reality. And something I always say is you've got to have like a why behind why you want that money. So what does that change in your finances? What does that mean for you and your family and your lifestyle?
So I love what you're saying there about like, it's kind of people want this financial freedom, but it's never about the money. And I think that has really been my driver as well. And I feel like sometimes I even feel not silly when I say that. I think people are going to even believe me when I say that, but it's so true. Like whenever I've had launches, I have been asked like, so what's your goal? Like, what would you like to get to? And I kind of say a number, but I don't feel attached to the number. It's not about the number for me, because I truly believe that money is not real. Like it's just a number on a screen. Like it's not in a vault somewhere. Like it's what it gives you. So for me, it's always been about like the clients and the impact and what that means. So that's what personally for me gives me that motivation and that drive. So like whenever I've had a launch or I've like launched a new offer, I've got really clear on who I want to serve and what that would mean for them. So how will this impact on their lives? Like, why does that excite me so much that it's going to help them? And who will they help? Because obviously I help coaches. So who will they then help? Which makes me feel even more fulfilled. So I get really clear on that, and that gives me a lot of motivation. So I really love that you said that. And then actually then hit the numbers. It's almost like, wow, that now means I've got so much financial freedom as well. And that's been really incredible too. So to get really clear on what it would mean for them, and also if I help them, then I get this freedom in my own life as well. And I think for a lot of people, money just equals freedom. So, this is really exciting. It's kind of set in stone, but we don't actually have it yet. So I think I remember speaking to you on the call when I was talking about leaving my job, about how at the time last year, me and Will were looking for a house.
Yeah, I remember.
But I had to make the decision of, I stay in my job and we get a house, but I still stay living in London and I'm not going to be doing coaching, but I'll have a house. And then I had this other side of me that was like, does a house even matter? It will just work out. I don't know how yet, but it will just work out. And then I'll be living with Will, like I'll be doing the coaching. And I'm so glad I made that decision. And because I've had my business for a year, and like the numbers and all like basically what I've been able to achieve means that we are able to buy our dream house now.
Oh my goodness.
Like just makes, I never thought it would be a year to be in that position. I've just worked everything out with my accountant, and we're just waiting for it to be available. So
oh my goodness, that's so exciting.
So that's kind of what it means for like us and like our life now, and like we're also getting married next year. So like, obviously that is kind of the driver behind it, is what that would mean for our lives together. I hope that is a bit of a long-winded answer to your question.
Yeah, no, I love that, because I mean it's very sort of similar to me. I think a lot of women like will ask me like, oh well, you know, well, how has it changed your life financially, and you know, what do you spend your money on? And to be honest, like it's my kind of thing has always been like my house, like, you know, buying my first home. We're about to buy a house now in Spain. And to be honest, the rest of it, I kind of put back into my business, or I save it, or I invest it. And I think back when I was in my 20s, if I thought I was earning this much money, I would have completely just splashed out on like, you know, spunked it all on like clothes and just... And I think that partly was because of my negative money mindset as well. Like I just wanted to get rid of it. And I think I've become a lot more savvy with my money since doing this work. Okay, so let's talk a little bit now. I want to kind of hear more about sort of the work that you're doing with your clients, because you're saying about, you know, being driven by the impact that you're making and the results that you're able to see. We've kind of heard about the shifts you've seen, but what kind of shifts are you seeing within your clients and their mindset?
Oh, so much. So I'm obviously a mindset and business coach. So I get to see the benefits of them succeeding in their business, but also in their mindset as well. And seeing them, the thing that we work on first is their mindset. So seeing them build their confidence as a coach, like, and seeing them go through this journey of like not feeling confident in who they serve and their abilities, to just owning their confidence is so incredible. And obviously that confidence and mindset is the foundation of their business. I help them to grow their audiences as well. It's like grow their audience and become a real go-to in their niche and own that too. So I had one client come to me when she had about 200 followers, and it's 100% not about the numbers, but they were followers that weren't ideal clients, and she had no idea like who she really wanted to serve and how to attract them. And now she's at nearly like 3,000 like really warm followers that are so invested in everything that she does, and she's such a go-to as a self-love coach now, and it just warms my heart. I love seeing it. And obviously, like as they build their business, like seeing them sign their first high ticket clients, like everybody remembers that moment. And consistent clients that after that, some of them for 6-month retainers, is just incredible. Like seeing my clients achieve their goals and like message me with their wins has me running around the flax. I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, I love that. And you can see from just your energy that you've obviously got a huge amounts of confidence in yourself and what you're able to deliver as a coach. Like, has it always been like that? Like when you first came into this process, like before you sort of started coaching, did you imagine you kind of get to this stage that you're at now?
Honestly, no, I didn't feel like I would be at this stage now. And I always had this, I would visualize so hard a year ago, and I'd really visualize what it would be like. And I'd visualize like my white desk with like my rose gold, like stationery, and I would visualize like client wins and stuff. And I'd try my best to step into that. But there's definitely been moments where I've thought like, am I gonna be able to achieve this? And everybody gets comparisonitis at some point. And you do look at other people online, and I've definitely had those moments. And I've had moments of absolute mindset wobbles as well. Had tears and things that haven't gone right, or things that haven't gone the way that I wanted them to go. And that's absolutely okay as well. And I really try and tell my clients that too. Like I had one client who came to me with like a lot of mindset work that she wanted to work on and build her business at the same time. And she tried to build her business for years and hadn't managed to do it. And we really focused on mindset at first. And at that time, when she first came to me, she didn't have a lot of confidence in herself or the way that she looked. So she was finding it really hard to get visible. So we did a lot of mindset work. And I think that's probably it's the client win that sticks out to me the most. Like signing clients is amazing, but seeing that shift in her to really see her beauty and own who she was and like love who she was and show up was just incredible. And from that, she's now seeing all of these wins in her business, like leads coming in and people wanting to sign up to a masterclass, and she's not even put it out there yet. And she's actually been approached now for a modeling job for ethnic minorities. And it's just incredible to see that. And I think that like that's my biggest client win that I've definitely seen. And something that's just happened recently. So I got asked to be a coach for, I don't know if you have heard of Social Cactus. She's a mindset and business coach as well.
Yeah, it definitely rings a bell. Yeah, it definitely rings a bell.
So she's asked me to be a coach in her business as well. So I do that alongside my own.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Programs.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. So have you started, or are you due to start, or?
So I started 2 weeks ago, and it's a group program. I run it with another coach, and just, oh my God, it's just so much fun. I felt so honored when she asked me as well, because obviously it's been like a year, and I was just so honored that she asked me. And
that's so
amazing.
That's so, and this is the thing about it, what I love about this industry is like you just never know what's around the corner and what like opportunities are going to come up. Like I was chatting to Alison D yesterday, and she was like telling me about her book, and I was like, did you ever anticipate? She's like, I always kind of thought I'd love to write one, but never in a million years thought it would happen like this and this quickly. And that's so good. Amazing. Well done.
I try to always tell my clients that you might see a highlight reel of how someone has like all this confidence now and has had all these wins, but like, and it's been an incredible journey, but like there will still be mindset wobbles. There'll still be times that you might like doubt your confidence. Are you going to make this work? And that's totally okay.
Yeah, I want to come back actually to this sort of comparison, because I think especially for the women that are perhaps not even stepped into this industry yet. Like they're thinking about maybe becoming a coach. And I definitely felt this, like seeing all of those other women that like are hugely successful, like, women like yourself, where you are kind of really owning who you are and like achieving amazing things within your business and really confident as a coach. There's a lot of women out there that think, well, she's already doing it. Can I actually do it too? Or, they're looking where they're at and they're comparing their chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 100. So what would you say to that woman that is stuck in that comparison mode and it's really kind of holding them back from taking any action?
I would say that we all started in that place. So don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 100. And it might not take you years and years and years and years. Like it was a year and a half ago, I think, that I was crying on Zoom to you.
Yeah.
And like crying on Zoom in front of 60 women that I had never even spoken to because it was the first call. And I was filled with so much fear and I was seeking validation from everyone else. I didn't know how to find that myself. So if I can go from that place, then you absolutely can as well. And like, it's kind of okay to feel that fear as well. I find a lot of people come to me and say like, well, I'm feeling this fear. Like, how do I get rid of it? And sometimes they say like, it might feel scary and that's okay. Like, let's look at how we can turn that fear into excitement and look at those limiting beliefs and keep taking action. And it's just step by step. If you're comparing where you are now to someone else, it can feel overwhelming. But what is your next goal? What's your next challenge that can just push you out of your comfort zone and just start to strengthen that confidence muscle for you?
Yes, I love that, because I think that's the thing. I think it's when you look too far ahead, like that can sometimes be motivating when you're looking at like the bigger picture and, the life you want to live and the success you want to see. But sometimes when we look too far ahead, it's like, oh my God, like how the hell am I ever going to get there? Because it feels so far away. So it's like you said, just looking at, well, what is that next thing that I can do that's just going to move that needle an inch forward today? So yeah, I absolutely love that. Something that you kind of mentioned was, talking about like a year and a half ago when you were on that call and we were chatting and you were crying and, you were allowing yourself to be vulnerable and you are, in this community of women that you perhaps only just met. Like that, I think for a lot of women might be thinking, God, that feels quite scary to allow yourself to be that vulnerable. So how did that feel for you in that moment, like allowing yourself to kind of just be open and transparent and just share what was going on for you within that community?
So I'd like to caveat this by saying I actually don't, that for me was something that I'd never done before. Like I actually don't cry to, I had this conversation with someone yesterday. It's something that I still am trying to work through. Like opening up and crying in front of people. So to do that for me was actually really, really scary at the time. And it was something, again, I think that I just felt like I couldn't not do, but ask the question. And I remember popping the question into the chat box quite like sneakily. And then you seeing it and like saying, should we chat about it? And I think that it took something for me to take that step and put the question in. But what really helped was the energy of the call and how you were really, really supportive. Like, even though it felt scary to take that bit of action, opening up actually didn't feel scary at all when I was actually doing it at the time. Like, it felt actually really natural, even though it was something so unnatural to me. And I really believe it's because of the space that we were in and that you created on the call, really, because it was something that I'm just not even used to doing in my personal life. So I really believe it's because it's such a safe space for people.
Yeah, and I think that's actually one of the feedback that we get. I mean, there's obviously lots of different types of feedback, but that thing about the community that they're a part of and just women feeling that they have like this really supportive network around them where they can sort of open up and they can allow themselves to feel vulnerable. I know it does feel scary for a lot of women that do come into the academy. So what would you say, let's say, for example, for somebody that is perhaps in the academy now listening to this, that is perhaps feeling a bit scared about opening up or getting coached during one of the live calls and they're perhaps resisting that, even though they would really like to have that opportunity to be coached? What would you say to that woman?
I would say think about what is it, listen to that urge that you've got. Why do you feel like you want to be coached in one of these calls? And think about all of those benefits instead. Like shift your focus onto why you want to be coached on that call. Because we can often focus on like the what ifs and like what will people think and how will I come across? But shift your focus onto why you want to be coached and where that will lead you. If I hadn't have like, you know, spoken up on that call, I might actually still be in fear right now. I might not have even touched the sides of the program if I hadn't have been coached in that moment. So just think about where that could lead you. Like you've got this urge to be coached. I'd say where is that going to lead you and why is it really important to you? And if right now you find it overwhelming and you're thinking, well, like there's all these coaches that are achieving amazing things and I've got such a way to go, like I've got so much to do, like just break it down and just think, what is my next step? Like, is your next step, you know, even just messaging one person in the Clique and saying like, I'm new to this. Is there any advice that you can give me? Or do you want to be an accountability partner? Like, what would be a next step for you that would be pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but is manageable for you right now? Because there's so much support in there. Like, I truly believe I've made best friends in there for life.
I love that. I really do love that. I honestly, when I see like the women like from the academy connecting with each other and like meeting up and like just the friendships that are formed within that community is just so, so beautiful. But yeah, I love what you're saying about just think about that next step. I was having a session the other day with somebody and they were getting so overwhelmed about, you know, the paying clients part. They were right at the beginning of the journey. I was like, well, why don't for now we just focus on the practicing of the coaching, you know, partnering up with, you know, other coaches or the students, you know, to actually practice. And she's like, oh yeah, like that feels way less overwhelming. So it's like sometimes we get so caught up on like what's over there. We just need to focus on the thing that's in front of us right now and just kind of take that sort of gradual step by step rather than trying to do these like huge leaps. Okay, so I just kind of to wrap things up, for anybody that is perhaps about to embark on their journey to becoming a coach, what would be your words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Oh, I would just like you to think about like, why would you hold yourself back right now? Like I was saying before, like it took me years to get into it and I feel like, oh, I could have been serving people for years. And a question that I asked myself that I would love you to ask yourself as well would be like, would I be happy in 6 months' time if I didn't make a change right now? Where will I be in 6 months' time if I don't make a change? And if I do take that step forward, where could I be in 6 months' time? Like, who could I be serving and where could my life be? Because like I've really learned over the last year, like anything is possible. It really is. So like just have that faith in yourself. And even if you can't see exactly how that road's going to go yet and all the steps that you're going to take and the decisions that you'll make, even if you don't have that yet, just have that self-belief that you will make it work, because you absolutely will. And there's such a supportive like network of cheerleaders in the Clique that will be there with you every single step of the way.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I think this has probably been a theme from this conversation today, is like you don't have to have it all figured out. It's literally just about taking that next step. And I think, you know, getting people to look at where they could potentially be 6 months from now, because there's a tendency, I think, to just procrastinate on things, thinking, oh well, maybe in 6 months from now things will be easier. It'll be easier for me to make that decision. And I actually think like procrastinating makes things harder. Like that fear doesn't go away. If anything, that fear builds up. And and you end up just putting your dreams on hold completely. I have absolutely loved connecting with you today. And, you know, I'm sure our listeners would love to know about where is the best place to connect with you for finding out more about you and to kind of hear more about what you have to say. Is it over on Instagram or?
Yeah, so I've got an Instagram page, which is a brand new page actually, because my Instagram account got hacked, which is one of the challenges that comes with the business. Sometimes these things can happen, but it just shows that you can start from scratch again. So my handle is Serena Samra Coach, and so you can come over there, like come and say hi. I would love to chat to you if you've got any questions about the Clique, about your journey as a coach, any like queries or mindset wobbles, anything, like come and chat to me about it. Like my DMs are always open. And I do have a Facebook group as well if you want to come and join that. It's called the Female Coach Collective.
Amazing. Well, what we will do, Serena, is we will link all of your social handles in the show notes as well, so people can very easily find them there. But honestly, I want to thank you so much just for being here and chatting with me today, because it's women like you, Serena, that just keep me doing the work that I'm doing, and just seeing how much has changed for you in such a short space of time. Like, we're literally talking about a year and a half, like when nothing was really happening, let's face it, in the world, like, you know, COVID time, like for a lot of people, you know, things just kind of stood still, but for you, you really, really made things happen. And I'm so excited as well to see everything that you're going to create moving forwards, because yeah, you're already doing amazing things, and it's only going to get better and better and better, I'm sure. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Dani. Honestly, from the absolute bottom of my heart, I remember following you when I was in that time of like wanting to start my business, but not like taking those steps. I was still in my 9 to 5. And I remember just following you and just you being such an inspiration to me, and spending time at the weekend, like going through like all of your resources and things like that, thinking like, I know that I can do this. It might not be right now, but I know I can. And it's because of you that I've been able to achieve all of this. So thank you so much for just everything you've built in the community, because that is why I've been able to do all of this. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as I said, Serena's handles will be in the show notes, so make sure to check them out. If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.